Good afternoon. Hey, welcome in. Danny and Dusty with you on this 3rd of July. How's everybody doing?
Splendid.
We got a holiday coming up tomorrow.
Some sweet Smarch weather. Where's this heat dome?
Yeah, it's been getting cold.
It'll be here.
It's weird. Yeah, I mean, you come this weekend, you won't be saying where'd that heat.
I'm just saying. Well, I mean, it's already gone from like it's going to be 110 to it's going to be 99. It's like we've already dropped 11 degrees. Let's see what we get to.
You saw 110 somewhere?
Oh yeah.
Most I saw was 102.
Yeah, I saw 103 for Saturday.
Ooh,
out near our neck of the
103.
woods. But
yeah. There was a
103. There was a 110 somewhere.
Yeah, there was a. I can't remember what news station it was. Like temperatures
Wow.
are forecasted to be as high as 110 degrees in the Portland metro area, and I'm like, all right, come on.
I think tomorrow's shaping up to be a great day, though. If it's 89 and sunny,
yeah, fantastic.
I mean, that's the wheelhouse right there.
I mean, if you're in London, you're dead.
You are dead.
You're dead.
That's something you don't.
That is 14 degrees past dead.
Yeah.
probably due to bad dental hygiene, too.
Wow.
You went there.
Yeah.
You went there. Did you?
2 Celsius over what they can handle.
Man, which is a million
Lot.
degrees apparently.
Yes.
It's but 2 Celsius is a million Fahrenheit.
Take the degrees times 9/5 plus 32.
Yep.
Carry the
hey,
1.
well, 4/5. 4/5.
1 and 4/5.
1 and 4/5.
Yes.
9/5. Mathing.
Same.
I hate this. Why are we talking Celsius
again,
the day before
Fahrenheit.
America's birthday?
See, exactly.
This is
America.
why we signed the Declaration of Independence. Is our forefathers? They saw this.
it
They
had
saw
nothing
this
to do
right
with
on the wall.
Taxation without representation.
That's
It was
right.
about getting your temperatures right.
Yeah.
Did you see that the Death Valley has the opportunity to become the hottest place on Earth?
It's not.
Well, I mean,
I just
the
assumed
hottest
that it
recorded
was.
temperature. So I think it was 134. So apparently
You're big on hot temperatures right now.
I saw it. I
This
was
is your thing.
scrolling social media because everybody was talking about the heat dome, which got my algorithm sideways, and then there we go. Now I'm like, Death Valley hot. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. They don't call it Nice Valley, but apparently the hottest day on record is 134 degrees. It's back in 1912. The hottest.
I don't believe that.
Recorded temperature.
I don't believe that.
Well, it's being contested.
I don't believe it at all.
And I'm like, but there's also been times before where we've had other records. Like, was it like most of the Oregon heat records were from like 70 something. There was like 1 year period where it was just like ungodly. It's like,
70s, I'll buy the 70s more than 1912, where it was just like Earl walking outside going, "It's hot,"
licking his
and they're
finger.
like, "How hot is it?" They're like, he's like, "I don't know, it's got to be like 134 out
When
there."
do you think thermometers were?
Yeah, he's just like, they're like 134. He's like, "Yeah, that's what it felt like out there."
When do you think thermometers were invented?
When thermometers were invented in 1648.
You're not that far off.
When was it?
1593.
1593.
So I'd say 1912. We're probably doing pretty good.
See, but I don't believe those. I don't believe them.
I mean,
Nope. Not gonna believe. Not gonna dare.
the thing is, like,
No.
it's simple. It's just
Wouldn't
mercury
be-
and glass. So it's like,
Yeah.
See, but who thought of who was the first to pick up on that and be like, hey, this looks like a fairly accurate representation of the weather right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get into my car and it's like my car says it's 108, and I'm like, I don't believe that. It's not 108. It's 2024 and we can't even have the deadly accurate thermometers in our vehicles.
Here you go.
Yeah.
How accurate were thermometers in the 1800s? Within 1 or 2 tenths of a degree Fahrenheit.
Which is like even smaller margin for Celsius.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that. That was put out there by Big Thermometer.
Big thermometer.
Yeah.
Trust us.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We know what's up.
Uh-huh.
So apparently
was that put out by the Extragen Temporal Scanner Thermometer?
It's put out by Mercury Inc.
That's right. Big Mercury trying to make a comeback here.
Well, apparently mercury is no longer in any medical use thermometer.
Yeah.
Because it's dangerous as hell.
It will kill you.
Yeah.
It
Well,
will
don't
kill
break it
you.
in somebody's mouth.
Yeah, there is a
Don't
podcast.
make it
do
look
you
like
remember
it
that-
tastes so good.
Do you remember that as a kid, getting the glass thermometer under your tongue?
Yeah.
It's a weird
I
feeling.
wonder what that silver tastes like.
What was that podcast? Hueytown, I think it was what it was called. Maybe.
Sure.
I don't know where you're going with this one.
But no, there was a podcast
About dying from
about
glass
this
thermometers?
dude in S-Town, S-Town, and he lived in Hueytown, Alabama. But it's called S-Town, and it's about this dude who was full on wackadoodle.
In Alabama, huh?
Yeah.
You don't say.
And it turned out.
Go on.
Like, it's called S-Town. It is a riveting podcast.
Yeah.
And you go through and you listen to it, and you're like, God, this guy's bonkers. Well, it turns out he was a watchmaker, clockmaker.
Oh, those people are
exposed
never
to a
insane.
ton of mercury.
Yeah.
And at the very end, the guy who makes spoiler alert, this podcast is really old. But at the end of it, it's like he's like, well, yeah, I mean, turns out he was exposed to a ton of mercury, and not sure how much is believable of any of his story. But it was a wild ride.
You ever see that movie Red with Bruce Willis, John Malkovich?
All those soldiers at Camp Lejeune ain't got nothing on that guy.
Dude. Yeah.
Gotta get. I need them to stop sending me those freaking things in the mail.
Yeah.
For the love of God, I was there for like 2 days.
Well, you get in.
Like PCS orders there for like 2 days. I'm like, I was not there then. It's fine. But
yeah, you should listen to S-Town.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Have you ever seen that movie Red? Bruce Willis, John Malkovich.
What, Helen Mirren in there too?
Helen
I want to
Mirren,
say.
yeah, it's a great cast.
I've seen the first one. I don't believe I've seen 2.
Well, when they go get John Malkovich's character, they're like, well, he thinks that he was given daily doses of LSD, and it turns out he was.
Yeah.
And that explains why he's so crazy and out there.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yep, there we go. That
Yeah.
explains a lot.
That would do it.
yeah, MK Ultra was a real thing.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Vancouver Ford text sign 503-864-6326. Dusty's like a flat earther. I just don't believe science. Yeah. No, I believe science. I just don't believe science.
No Candace Owens over here.
Oh, that was a whole thing. That was a whole thing. Did you see that today, Danny? Candace Owens said she's not a flat earther, but she's not a round earther. She just is.
She's
not
given up
part
on
of
the cult of science.
the cult of science. No, I just don't believe that they were as dialed in 1580. What did you say? 1580 whatever?
1598, I think you said.
Yeah, 1598.
1580. I closed.
I just don't. I'm not.
1612 was the official introduction. Wow.
That was a weird slip.
That was there you go. Introduction of the in-mouth glass thermometer with the mercury.
Yeah.
I wonder how they handled mercury back then.
Like
we didn't have gloves
with
really.
a funnel.
How do you collect it? How do you smelt it?
I don't know.
It's just some guy in a freaking smelting room, just completely gone.
Yeah, saying this is accurate.
Yeah,
to 1/10 of a degree.
They probably worked next to the blacksmith.
They're like,
I assume.
They're like, how do you know that? I just, yep.
I see numbers.
Yep. Look, red goes up. Hot. Nailed it. It's like, how do we know?
It just does.
How do we know?
It just does.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not buying 1912 134 degrees.
How do you figure that out?
Well, you
that
have
mercury in glass turns to like accurate measure of temperature.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. I'm like, who was the first person to think to be like, hey,
you know what I mean? Like,
I bet you this could work.
I mean, I think the general idea of like how glass came about is either lightning or fire on sand.
I'm guessing, purely guess here. They noticed that mercury expanded as the temperatures got hotter, and so they were like, I bet we could measure this.
There you go.
I mean, because
I don't know.
But like
basically, they were still thinking Galileo was crazy for thinking the Earth revolved around the sun.
But also the whole idea of like, where do you see mercury in like life at that point in time?
I don't know.
Yeah,
got a lot of mercury mines in the 1500s.
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you ever?
You're asking me questions I have no idea.
I'm saying, do you ever pound like the shower thoughts? Like these are the things that will keep me in the shower for like 25 minutes, and I go.
I went through this yesterday, though. Like you got to start at like your baseline. We have so much that we just don't care about anymore. Like you have the inquisitive mind. Yesterday, my kid figured out how to burn things with a magnifying glass.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah, isn't that?
Watch out.
Yeah, and it was like he had like he was doing it with like leaves, you know, and he's like, whoa. And my wife was looking at me like, did you do this when I was a kid? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, with literally anything I could find.
Like a rite of passage.
Yeah.
She's like, he just, like, we got to stop him. I'm like, yeah. So I gave him the whole cautionary tales,
Don't do this on the wooden deck for 30 minutes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just stop doing it in the garage.
Yeah.
Like,
near the explosive things.
Never do it when an adult is not around,
Yeah.
right? Like, you always make sure if you're ever going to do this, a grown-up is there. We had water there. She's just like, but you are just, boys are so dumb. And I'm like, well, I mean, somebody had to do it.
Yeah.
You have that inquisitive mind. And so.
Hey, put your hand underneath there for a minute.
Yeah.
Boys are dumb.
Boys are dumb. Yeah. And you go through that, though. But as you grow up, like you have your interests. Like, this is the thing. You're sitting there like, where'd Mercury? Who thought of this? You have thought up of the most absolutely lunatic back-ass-word stuff I've ever seen about basketball, but that's your passion. That's what you're into, right?
Sure.
Right? I mean, you're thinking about it, and you're going down those roads. That's what the scientists do, but it's in their field. Like, you are basketballing.
But also, like,
they're doing sciencing.
But see, I understand. Like,
right?
We had peach baskets.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, let's take this ball and figure this out. Like, golf. What was it? Sheep bladders?
Yeah. No. They're shepherds, and it was rocks, and they would hit them with the stick.
There you go. Like,
and they were
a natural, like,
Mm-hmm.
thing. You kind of understand.
Just
like,
dudes being dudes, getting bored.
Highlight started out with severed human heads.
Yeah. Lacrosse, too. Lacrosse is how they settled wars.
Yeah.
It's crazy. When you go into lacrosse is metal as hell. Dig into like the history of lacrosse in like northern North America or northern America and into Canada. It is crazy.
You're just trying to get us with your lacrosse propaganda.
I do have my sticks in my car.
Yeah.
Back to the old thermometer thing.
Sport in America.
Looks like Daniel Gabriel Fahrenheit invented the mercury thermometer in 1714.
Oh, so the guy who invented the thermometer is Fahrenheit?
Yes.
All right. See, you're out, Celsius. This is why we won the Revolutionary War.
And Swedish astronomer Anders Celsius invented the centigrade scale.
It's always
also known as Celsius.
Where's Fahrenheit from? Where is he from?
I would go with Germany.
Yeah, German physicist.
He's German.
Fahrenheit? Yeah.
Invented the alcohol thermometer in 1709 and the mercury thermometer in 1714.
What?
See, so Fahrenheit was first, damn it.
Yeah. Danny, he could have moved to the United States of America in 1789.
I'm just saying, where's Fahrenheit from? Come on.
Well, yeah, but it's like he could have been American, and we would have been like, yep, now the case is definitely closed.
Yeah.
Then
Also,
not Celsius, who lives in Sweden, is like, 0 should be freezing because that's all we get to.
That's all we get to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
See?
Well, it's funny how, Fahrenheit invented the thermometer, much like Thomas Crapper and the toilet, and then you got William Boob and the brassiere.
No, I don't believe that one.
For a split
I don't believe
second,
either of those
For
ones.
a split second, you're like, wait.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. You can't slip those past me there, Jeff Rust.
Thomas Crapper, though, I think is a thing.
All right.
He founded Thomas Crapper and Company in London, a plumbing equipment company.
What about Porta John?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Oh, yeah. His notability with toilets has often been overstated, mostly due to the publication of a
mostly due to a midday radio show in Portland's producer.
A fictional biography by New Zealand satirist Wallace Rayburn. But he did hold Thomas Crapper did hold 9 patents, 3 of them for water closet improvements, such as the floating ball cock.
Oh, that's
the flusher thing.
This flusher thing in the.
The thing that you sit there and grab over and over again and hold up while your water's not running.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to jiggle the handle to make sure your ball cock floats in there. That's exactly how that works. I've had to fix those a few times in my life.
Hate it when my ball cock is broken.
Somehow we got here.
You're welcome.
No. I believe you owe an apology to everyone right now.
I think the internet got me on the William Boob thing. But
oh, you think?
Yeah.
You think you got by Bill Boob inventing the brassiere? You think that one? You think that one got you?
Come on, you can't picture a line called Billy Boobs.
Actually, I did pass the porta potty place called Willie Make It, and that was Willy. Yeah, I passed one of those on the drive-in today, and I was like, I love that. You know,
That's fantastic. I've not seen that one.
You haven't?
No.
It's called Willie Make It, and it's got their logo's a little guy running towards a porta potty.
Oh, that's great.
It's fantastic. All right, well, thermometer talk.
That old Make It family.
Hey, I'll believe this more than I'll believe Rust. This text just says the knowledge of mercury has been around since about 1500 BC, China and Egypt.
That's the thing. It's like, I want to know where that comes from. Like, because again, mercury kills. So how do you get around it and manipulate it thousands of years ago?
Oh, it's the long-term exposure kills you. So like they didn't know. They just didn't know. They're like, yeah, all the guys who make thermometers, they seem to be dying real quick.
Yeah, right?
all those guys seem to be pretty out there. You know, and then they figured it out. Hey, all these guys that are absolute wackadoodles and then die far too early, they seem to be the ones working with the mercury. I think we're going to draw a line there. I think we got a line of correlation between the two.
By the way, according to the text line, here's another inventor. Joe Boxer invented men's underwear.
Okay. You know, that's not true. Joe Boxer did not do that. Did not fake news. Did not do that.
Damn it.
Well, Jack Firework. Celebrate him tomorrow. Good Lord. All right.
Oh, man.
I can't.
Then he showed his kid fireworks too early, and all of a sudden his name is Johnny No Finger.
I saw a meme yesterday that said July 4th, and it had Apollo Creed dancing in his red, white, and blue. And then July 5th, it was Chubbs with the wooden hand.
Unbelievable.
So
I'm over here fascinated. There's a video I've got. I didn't know you can actually like physically touch mercury without it being detrimental, but apparently as long as you don't have like any cuts on you, it's actually okay to touch.
I'm not going to believe that either.
Yeah.
I don't know what to believe right now. Let's get to sports, huh? We're going to stick to let's get to sports. Yeah, ish. Today, we do have the probing question. What is the best firework? This is tough.
It is.
It is tough.
Should we pull it?
No.
No.
There's too many options. Are you kidding me? This has just got to be the knockout, drag out argument.
Okay.
Well, because who's going to remember all the names and stuff too? It's just kind of a generic description at this point.
Well, all that matters is snakes and sparklers.
Oh, dude.
That's right.
Get the hell
They're the best
outta here.
ones.
You guys need to stop. Jeff Rust has told more lies right now than, I don't know, anything we saw. The combined debaters in the presidential debate last week. We have more lies in this segment.
Per minute. We'll say per minute.
Per minute.
Yeah.
Per minute. You are, per minute, you have been speaking. It has been just absolutely, I don't know what to believe in your Sports Center update. I don't know.
Bronny James signing a 5-year, $214 million max contract.
All right. If this isn't a sign of where things are going to go, I don't know what will be. Let's get to it. Let's continue the NBA's free agent period because a lot of action, a lot of movement across the NBA, and LeBron not taking that hometown discount to stay in LA. Danny Dusty on the Fan.
Built for
All right, keep sending your best fireworks in to the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6326. All texts to the fan are via the Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. Really slow and in kind of an odd start to the NBA's free agency and trade period. It hasn't been nearly as active as what people presumed it would be because of how many teams were in the second apron or in the first apron, maybe trying to get under the luxury tax threshold. And there was like, the conversation was, oh, man, a lot of tough decisions going to be made. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, teams like Boston are just going, crotch chop, DX, we're going to screw that salary cap. We're going to pay more in luxury tax over the next 8 years than, I don't know, most teams have ever spent. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they're going to have a $500 million team with luxury tax.
It's the wild thing is that people just either don't seem to care, or what we're seeing a lot of is extensions, guys that have been rumored to be on the market via trade being signed to an extension, and then you start those conversations of a sign-in trades being the more popular, mode of
which is
moving
a new
guys.
thing coming. Bringing the sign-in trade back is good. I like that. It was dead for basically 5 years, six years.
But it slows the movement down because you do need to have both teams on board with financials and it's not just, hey, move this contract and then go. It's hey, we need to have something that works with you, and then we have the player that agree with it, and then, oh, by the way, now we need to match numbers and draft picks and whatnots. It's a few more moving parts than just we're going to trade this guy for these pieces.
Yeah, and even then, I've heard you said it too. People saying that this is slow. I don't think it's really been that slow. You had DeJounte Murray traded. You had Denny Avdia traded. You had draft picks traded left, right, and center. Klay Thompson signed with the Mavericks in a sign trade. Like, there's been a ton of transactions. It's just not the biggest names because this free agent class wasn't that.
But the Avdia trade was not. That was a draft day trade and not a free agency signing period. But I understand.
I'm saying
there's
a
lot
week
of
transactions is what I'm saying.
In free agency, it's like, oh, he's moving here. We have meetings that are going on. God, you go back. I go back to the LaMarcus Aldridge on the plane down to L.A. to meet.
That's
those
sorts
of things.
It's the meetings that doesn't happen anymore.
Yep.
Particularly in that. I was actually talking to somebody about this the other day. The midnight free agency and the mad dash and scramble to have the first meeting and to be in the room, and like the closest thing we got to that was there's two different ones. One, Oklahoma City flying to Eugene, private, to go meet with Isaiah Hartenstein right out of the gate. And the 76ers meeting in L.A. with Paul George, where they actually had to delay the meeting by 2 hours because Dr. J and the Josh Harris, the Sixers owner, were delayed by weather. So, but they posted up and waited. But, like, other than that, and I think, again, a lot of that has to do with the free agency class. There wasn't clamoring or fighting or really pushing, and I think that's really been that way for a little while now as far as free agency. And this is the thing that when the new CBA was signed that I said that you're not going to get this anymore at all because, number one, the salary floor. Number two, essentially it's now a hard cap. The reason Donovan Mitchell...
Tell that to Boston.
Well, again, we'll see what that looks like with a new owner. You have an owner on the way out who's like, screw it and give double barreling everything. It's like, yeah, you're on your way out. His father's getting very old, which is why they're getting out when they are, and they're going to get $5.5 billion for it. But the reason Donovan Mitchell is still a Cavalier is very simple. All of the talk, and you heard it nationally, like, oh, he's gone. And I was like, he's not gone. And the folks that I talked to with the Cavs are like, where's he gonna go? Once Jalen Brunson went to the Knicks, where is he going to go?
Miami now.
Sure. Yeah. Yes, the Cleveland Cavaliers, after watching the Portland Trailblazers with Damian Lillard not deal him for that, are going to deal Donovan Mitchell
I got you triggered.
for that package. But no,
that's a Miami
fan.
That's
what Miami media. Miami media is like, well, the dream is dead. I'm like, what dream? And that's the thing is like the where teams operate. Like, you had a couple teams with cap space this year because Philly lined it up so they had cap space. Orlando lined it up where they had cap space. The Pistons did because they suck. But there's just not if you're a player going forward and you want to change teams while also getting max money, you're going to have to go to a bad team or a good team that lined everything up, and that is so risky to do.
And but I think that the frenetic pace of everything, it has been slower this year. And, one thing that Adam Silver and the NBA owners wanted was they wanted to restrict the player movement, right? They wanted guys to stay in a place for longer. And it's fascinating to me, and you brought up Orlando, who set themselves up to have some salary cap space. And yesterday, Mo Wagner and Jonathan Isaac, they extend both of those guys out. They got Gary Harris the other day, right? And they're extending their guys where it was like, hey,
and
Orlando,
KCP.
Orlando's going to be a team that is going to be very aggressive in trying to add shooters because they got this cap space. They've got some flexibility with guys that are extension eligible, and they could move on from guys, and they could bring back a shooter in return. And it's like, yeah, KCP is the big move that they have made, and it's really, I think NBA fans are kind of recalibrating to this is a little bit different now because of how fast everything used to move. It is slower. I mean,
it is. And the big part of it was, number one, the first domino of Paul George was what was holding a lot of things back, and then it was Klay Thompson. And then you're getting teams like the Lakers who like to say that they're going to do a million things who don't ever actually do anything.
Yeah.
They don't. They get all this coverage of doing something, but they don't actually do anything. Danny Ainge of the Jazz has talked about doing things. They haven't done anything. Now, they could move Lowry. Like, the Warriors put basically all on the table for Lowry. I've heard the Spurs are chasing
Lowry Markkanen, for those that are wondering.
Chasing him hard, too, pairing Lowry Markkanen with Wemby, which, good God, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
With Stephon Castle as the young point guard and CP3 as your stopgap.
They'll be a lot better than people think right away if that happens. But so much this new CBA, you're seeing teams be very selective about what they are and aren't going to do. I think you're going to see less, like I said it when it happened. I think CJ McCollum and the Players Union got their asses handed to them.
Hey, but they can smoke weed.
Hey, they can smoke weed. Congratulations. No more weed smoking drug tests. Yeah. But beyond that, what did they get? Like the top earners are like you're going to limit how many more top earners you have, and if you're talking about the trickle down effect of those guys getting paid, I think what's going to happen is, and you're seeing it right now.
Tobias Harris gets all the money.
Well, not just that, but they're like, well, we had to spend it on somebody, so they go do it, but they do it in a shorter deal.
It's 2-year deals.
See how many 2- and 3-year deals there are? They're all over the place because teams are going, sure, we'll give you the money. We're just going to front load the hell out of it, and then we're going to get you out of here. So you're getting less guaranteed years for these players. And there's guys like you just saw Buddy Hield, who's still a good player.
Shooter.
He's going to the Warriors on nothing. Gary Trent Jr. is a free agent still. Precious Achiuwa is a free agent still. You go down the list of guys that are still free agents. Miles Bridges, complete scumbag, probably going to the Clippers for cheap. You just go down the list of guys that are still available, and you're like, Robert Covington, still available. Still a functional veteran player. Nick Claxton is going to return and resign likely with the Nets, but they're waiting to see what they traded stuff out of. Seth Curry, DeMar DeRozan, you start going down the list, there is a ton of actual capable veteran NBA players that still don't have a home. Why? Because this new CBA has got everybody hemmed up. It's also working as an excuse for owners, but whoa, aprons can't afford to pay you.
It almost feels like what we have is everybody was under the presumption that there were teams that wanted to get under the second apron. They wanted to get under the first apron, and you wanted to be able to be malleable moving forward, right? And each team had their idea of what they were going to do, and now they're kind of feeling out how other teams are operating. And then the Clippers and the 76ers and the Celtics just walked into the living room, threw in a hand grenade, and said, screw it. The Clippers, I still don't know what they're doing.
Well, the CBA is both a problem and a weapon for them. I don't.
Right?
It's well, we can't actually do this, but also, hey, we're going to take advantage of this depressed market, and we're going to sign scumbags like Kevin Porter Jr. and Miles Bridges because their value's depressed.
And exactly.
It's
and then you have everybody waits for the first domino to fall, and then everything falls in line, right? it has been so weird to see teams just say double barreling the NBA, the new CBA, and saying screw it. And then we've seen everything else has been kind of on the margins, and teams are feeling each other out and how each team is going to react and what their ownership groups want to be in this new world of the NBA.
I will say this about the Celtics, from the folks that I have talked to that are plugged in there, that team will look very different at the trade deadline.
Okay. Well, all right.
They can't.
Okay.
They can't be what they have been.
Let's get to this next then. What does all this mean to the Portland Trailblazers, a hometown team? Because we got the draft day deal, and there was movement and action right there. Is this what we just were talking about in sometimes a depressed market for veteran players in free agency, a lack of teams wanting to get under those thresholds of the new CBA? What has it all meant for Portland? That after a potentially questionable factual SportsCenter update from Jeff Rust.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, turns out LeBron James will not be taking a pay cut after all. After the Lakers lost out on Klay Thompson, LeBron plans to sign a 2-year, $104 million max deal with a player option and a no-trade clause. Those Lakers announced the hiring of former Trailblazers head coach Nate McMillan and former Blazers assistant and NBA head coach Scotty Brooks as top assistants on new head coach J.J. Redick's staff. And Bronny James has signed his rookie contract with the Lakers, 4 years, $7.9 million with a team option in that fourth season. Elsewhere in the association, Adrian Wojnarowski reporting Blazers legend Joe Ingles signing a 1-year deal with the Timberwolves. And over in baseball, the Mariners slide continues. Losers of 3 straight and 9 of their last 12. Game 2 against the Orioles tonight at T-Mobile Park. 7:10 first pitch on Root Sports. Logan Gilbert on the bump for Seattle. Dean Kramer for Baltimore. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The inside story on the Blazers, Ducks, and Beavers. Danny and Dusty. Weekdays noon to 3 on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
All right, it's been a readjustment for players, organizations, and fans alike as the new collective bargaining agreement in the NBA has. It's weird. I look at it as slowing. You are made a very good point on, like, there's still action happening. It's just in a different way, and it's just how you want to frame the way that the NBA is operating right now. But as it pertains to the hometown team, the Portland Trailblazers, like, they made the draft day move where they traded the 14th pick, a future, and Malcolm Brogdon for Denny Avdia of the Washington Wizards. And they got him, and that's kind of been the biggest move, along with drafting, Donovan Clingan.
Very large man.
Yeah. And sitting there, and they got younger and upgraded at a position of need at that, that swing forward position. But now with where Portland is at, how has all of this kind of impacted Portland in their standing? And everybody wants you to be aggressive. And we knew Portland never has been a big swinger in free agency with the roster that they had and the number of spots available. We knew they weren't going to be active in free agency, but there was the ability to move off of some veterans. There was a lot of rumors and bubbling around, basically anybody on the roster that's over the age of 25.
Basically, yeah.
That, hey, open for business right now.
And there still is. And that's the thing is, like, we're July 3rd. The moratorium doesn't end until the 6th, and usually you don't typically, I'm cursing this, you don't typically see business done on July 4th. It's kind of seen as like uncouth around the NBA. Like, don't make me work on the 4th.
Unless it is Kevin Durant in the Hamptons with the Warriors.
Yeah, where they were there together. So that's what I'm saying. Most of the time, everybody kind of respects the 4th as like, like, this is our family day. Like, let's everybody chill. And then we'll come back on the 5th. Or later on that night, you start making calls going in the next day. But
drunken phone calls,
there you go, babe. Speaking, did you see the clip from Hard Knocks yet? On the sideline, how the Brian Burns deal? We got to talk about that.
We got that. We got the audio of that.
That's super interesting because I think people think that it's like a very detailed process for transactions, and it's like, no, that's kind of how it goes.
These are how these things work.
Yeah, it's built, and that's what we talk about relationships all the time.
All right, that might be why Danny Ainge is so effective. He's Mormon. He doesn't drink.
There you go.
He's sitting there, and he's like,
he's stone cold sober all the time.
He gets them all sloshed up, and he's like, hey, how about those first? I'll tell you.
Daryl Morey throws the ping pong parties, and there you go. That's what happens. But no, I still think there's time for action. I would be surprised if Malcolm Brogdon was the only move as far as the veterans go. I could be wrong, but I feel like there's going to be at least one more. Like, whether or not it's Jeremy, whether or not it's Time Lord, whether or not it's Anthony, like, I think there's going to be one more.
Ayton, for goodness sakes. I mean,
like, they've explored a lot of different things. So, as it pertains to the Jeremy Grant stuff, I heard back again, it's a staring contest. The price has been set, and apparently the price is set at both the Lakers' first-round picks. And things can change. There's always that qualifier, whether it's market or whether it's some other dynamic. Jeremy saying he really wants to go there, or Clutch going the other way and doing a favor that we talked about yesterday for the Trailblazers for goodness to Clutch, as it were. But I don't think that deal is going to get done unless Portland gets both of the Lakers' first-round picks.
It shouldn't get done.
So,
get what you want.
Yeah, and honestly, look, Joe Cronin dealt with months of this with significantly more pressure on a player that demanded a trade publicly. Yeah. I don't think that he's in any kind of hurry to be like, oh, I better make sure I appease the Lakers.
Yeah. Do we think that any of these key dates that are coming up are at play? July 6th, Anthony Simons is up for an extension.
Mm-hmm.
July 13th, Jabari Walker up for an extension. July 18th, DeAndre Ayton up for extension. July 30th, Robert Williams up for an extension. In kind of how we've seen some of these deals move and operate, we've seen sign and trades happen, guys get extensions, and then they move on. Is that a hang up in potentially any of this movement happening?
I don't think so. I don't believe there's been any discussions either on Anthony Simon's side or the Blazers side about a potential extension there. Even though this is when you maybe start having them is 2 years out because that's when you're actually eligible. The interesting thing about Jabari's is even though he is technically eligible, his guarantee date isn't until July 20th because he didn't actually sign his full contract until the 20th.
So he's up for an extension on the 13th. His contract this year does not become guaranteed
until the 20th.
Until the 20th.
Super, super weird. So you won't see any movement in there. And honestly, I think they'll probably let him reach and kind of see what happens with him before they do anything. And I believe they'd have early birds because he's got 3 years instead of 4. It's a second round pick with some arenas rule stuff in there as well. But I don't think the Blazers are looking at any potential extensions right now, particularly the higher valued roster guys like Ant, Time Lord, or Da. So Da, if he is going to be a part of their future, it's not going to be at $35 million a year. It's going to be at a significantly less scaling. Like that's the reality of that. Whether it's here or somewhere else, that's not happening. Time Lord, you just need to see play basketball. And that's another funny thing I've heard from people that the Lakers have been asking to see Time Lord included in that deal with Grant. It's like, why would they sell him at his lowest point to the Lakers just to help you out? It's like, no, that doesn't.
No, we don't like you.
No,
no.
And in order to do that, the Blazers would have to take back more bad money.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, and I mean but look, this is where the Blazers are right now. Sad.
I mean, this is the waiting game you play to try to capitalize on your assets as much as you can. And for everybody's like, well, if they don't move Jeremy now, his value's going to go down. I heard that when he signed the contract, and now his value's up. And I heard that the trade deadline, if they didn't move in the deadline, his value is going to go down. It's like multiple teams are still calling on Jeremy Grant. That's where it is. My personal belief is if it doesn't get done at the summertime, they'll get to the trade deadline, and there will be 1 or 2, maybe 3 teams that come calling on Jeremy Grant, much the same way the Dallas Mavericks did, where they look at I think the NBA landscape is changing radically. I don't think we're going to see repeat champions. I don't think we're going to see back-to-backs. I don't think we're going to see dynasties. I think this CBA is going to be very prohibitive in that regard. And so when you have an opportunity to make a run and you're going to look at a player like a Jeremy Grant and go, that guy could help us win a title. He could be our 3rd guy. He could be our 4th guy. If we get him and we just say, screw it, it's worth it for us. Let's go down that pipe.
What about any of those guys that I mentioned? And because of like a sign-in trade, if you're not eligible for that extension until those dates, then you can be eligible for that extension and then get dealt. Do you see that happening with any of them?
No, I don't think any of those guys are going to get extended this cycle right now.
I'm talking for their future team and the security that the future team would have because they become extension eligible.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the deal is you're going to want to get them at a lower number at some point in time, and I think that's kind of the idea. Like, I remember when Ant signed his deal, I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Emmanuel Quickley is like, 7 months younger than Anthony Simons, and he's making $11 million more a year. So you tell me. Like, it was like, oh my God, IQ, great deal, Raptors. And I'm like,
yeah.
He got $11 million more a year, guys. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah. If that's such a great deal and you've got a guy who's a better shooter behind him, like...
Well, one guy played in New York City and
has the prestige, baby.
And had his value propped up significantly. Yeah, and there's your difference right there.
It's the same thing with RJ Barrett. It's like the reason why they mattered more to the Raptors is the Canadian second son. No, seriously, like if you go up there, like his father, Rowan, runs the Team Canada. Like he's royalty basically.
A lot of former Blazers coaches are getting jobs.
They are.
This is a weird one, and all 3 former Blazers coaches linked directly to the Los Angeles Lakers, and one is becoming even more of a hero in this city than the other 2. Next on the Fan. I mean, Terry Stotts could walk into any bar in Portland and pull a Ric Flair, woo!
Yeah.
And everybody be like,
mm-hmm.
Staffs around the NBA getting rounded out. JJ
Eventually.
Redick has hired both Scotty Brooks and Nate McMillan to his staff in LA.
Mentioned Scotty Brooks here 2 weeks ago that the Lakers are looking at him.
And that one is, we just sit there and shake our heads and up here in Portland and say, how dare you? But then there was a report yesterday that not once, not twice, but 3 different times the Los Angeles Lakers approached Terry Stotts about being an assistant, and he said, no.
No, I'm good.
Will not. And he has today joined the Golden State Warriors staff.
Which the Warriors, I will say this about the Warriors. They do plenty of things wrong. They pay their assistant coaches probably better than anybody else in the league. That's something they throw money at.
Yeah.
Legitimately. So, Dare Bear doing okay financially, but turns out I think he likes money, and also I think he's tight with Kerr. So.
Yeah. And look, that for his style of offense, Golden State makes way more sense than going in. And look,
well, it made sense in Milwaukee when Dame was there.
Well, and Terry Stotts also looking at a first-time head coach who's going to want to assert his authority in the locker room, and JJ Redick. And he was like, I've been through this last summer.
No, I'm good.
And I want to go to the veteran coach and just do my basketball thing, work with, I don't know, Steph Curry, and now Buddy Hield, and I got shooters.
I
got shooters.
They'll find a way to get some of those on the floor, and it'll be interesting to see who, if they do anything else. What's funny is at this point in time, they've lost Klay Thompson, and they've still done more than Lakers have done this offseason.
That is a fact, Jack.
But Scotty Brooks is going to be helpful to JJ Redick, and like the way Scotty, I like Scotty as a human. Like, he's a great dude, really incredibly nice dude. He's like the organizer. Like, he helps you understand structure to practice and routines.
His biggest faults as a head coach were in-game adjustments.
He's not heavy
that.
X's and O's, offense, defense. Like, don't get me wrong, he's not a dummy. He knows the game. He's a point guard in the NBA. Funny thing is, Casey Holdahl called this out.
Dude, this video's awesome.
Scotty Brooks and Nate McMillan got into a full-on fist fight in a playoff game when they were playing against each other.
So good.
And neither got suspended.
And Otis,
shout out the NBA.
Yeah. Otis Thorpe decked Sean Kemp. George Karl got scrappy in it. Sean Kemp threw his shoulder at Rudy T. And Rudy T's probably like, hey, no,
I've been here before.
No, I don't want
Vernon Maxwell was in that scrap too, by the way, which is crazy that nobody got punched by Vernon. But yeah, no, now
I wasn't a fan, so
now they're coaching buddies. Definitely 2 diametrically opposed coaches. One is Sarge for a reason, and Nate McMillan. Although I will give him credit, he has been a little bit more mild, it's a softer, gentler Sarge. Still Sarge, but not quite as militaristic as he was in the past. But they aren't bad hires.
No longer Sarge. It's more like Bronson Pinchot in Beverly Hills Cop.
Sarge. I like that. Good hires for sure, but I will tell you right now, they were not their first, second, third, fourth choices.
No.
They went other places.
Well, Terry Stotts apparently thrice times.
Yeah. Other assistants went to other places. So yeah, it
makes my heart warm.
Yeah, no, it warms the cockles of the heart. That's for sure. I will say, it appears that word is getting out about the Lakers around the NBA about how poorly run an organization they are, how poorly they take care of things, how poorly they treat people on the way out. Like, that stuff matters to an extent. You can get away with it if you're like winning titles and it makes sense, but like, I know people think it's like sour grapes when I talk about the Lakers like this. This is stuff that people in the NBA have told me that have direct knowledge of how things work and don't work with that organization. And if you're supposed to be like the gem of the NBA, their crown jewel, shouldn't you be able to like bring in free agents? Shouldn't you be able to like help facilitate trades in your favor, get assistant coaches that matter? Like, don't isn't that what preeminent franchises do?
Yeah.
And yet they haven't, because they're run like a mom and pop shop. And I don't mean that in like a positive manner. I mean like the one that crashes into the side of the mountain and doesn't make it past this, the grand opening weekend. It's just The best thing, if you're a Laker hater, is that Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka and the Ramby run that franchise. Because as long as they do, they will never be greater than the sum of their parts. They just won't.
All right. Well,
fun times. So you can. Look,
I'm not crying.
Look, as a Blazers fan, if you're out there, I'm telling you right now, like, oh, Johnny Allen, you praise the basketball gods that you don't have that triumvirate running a franchise that you care about.
Well, the kids took over. And here in Portland, we have the sister took over and the best friend.
Yeah.
You know, the sister and the best friend took over here in Portland. The kids took over in the Lakers organization.
Fought over it, lost it to the oldest sister.
I think that makes organizations like the Pittsburgh Steelers, which they've had, you know, they've handed it down from one generation to the next, the Chiefs. But even the Chiefs, like, their players voted their ownership an F in a players poll.
Yeah, I mean, Clark
Hunt
is
family
despised.
Is cheap. They have a very good GM, an exceptional head coach, and the best quarterback in the NFL right now. That's really helping them out. I mean, when you have a takeover and the kids take over the parents' organization, there is a massive fall off. That happens because there's a reason why the people who either started the organization, like in Pittsburgh or Kansas City, or that bought the organization and loved it, like they did in LA or here in Portland. There's a reason why they did it. Yeah. And it's because they had a passion for it.
Meanwhile, look at the Cowboys org structure that goes from Jones to Jones to Jones to Jones. Not kidding. The org chart literally is Jerry and 3 kids.
Well-run organization.
Still worth more money than any other team in the world.
So are the Lakers.
Yeah. And that's what I mean.
Yeah. It's that
in
money grab. In
spite of it all.
All right. You want to have some fun with audio next?
Yes.
All right. We'll do it. This should be a surprise to nobody, but it opens up a bigger question. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Wednesday afternoon.
You had to think about it.
No, it's just a Wednesday.
I
knew because it's the day before the 4th of July.
Oh, July. You know what's weird is I'm not feeling very patriotic yet.
Really?
I have not, like, even though the fireworks are out, like, I'm not feeling 4th of July yet.
I was going with which red, white, and blue I was going to wear. I debated wearing the bald eagle wearing his flight suit shirt today, but obviously I wear that on the 4th.
I dropped the ball. I should have gone with my red, white, and blue La Flama Blanca.
What? Ooh. Kenny Powers?
Yeah, Kenny Powers.
Let's go.
How about that? Usually for tomorrow, I reserve the Uncle Sam Bill Murray.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like going shirtless with shotguns.
That's a shirt you have or what you do?
No, what I do.
Oh, okay.
Stay away from Newberg.
On brand.
I'll probably go out to the range.
Okay.
Be very patriotic.
All right.
Every time I pull the trigger on my 7.62 rifle, it's like, oh, there's $3. Oh, there's $3. Oh, there's $3.
Seems efficient.
Yeah, that ammo's really expensive.
Seems efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you fire off the shotgun shells, if you're firing off those 3.5-inch triple BB rounds, it is probably 250.
I have no idea what you just told me.
It's a big long shotgun shell with steel BBs instead of a little
look at
brass
that.
ones. So.
Yeah, that's more expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steel, expensive.
All right.
America.
That's Talking Guns.
That is Talking Guns, right?
It's my
there.
New podcast.
Oh, you're gonna have that?
My gun podcast. No, I don't want the ATF to know what I have.
Coming to NBC Sports Northwest, Talking Guns. Talking everything else.
See?
Rasheed Wallace is talking. He's got podcasts now. And this will be of no surprise to anybody. This is from the Sheen Tyler Show. And he brought forth a story of Arvydas Sabonis and his prowess off the floor.
So Sabonis is a good dude. I would probably say out of any other big I played with, he was the best passer. Oh. Hands down. Hands down. You better be looking at that when he got the ball. Hey, it's going to hit you in your face, the back of your head, something like that if you're not looking at him. But he going to get you that route. He was fine because Sabonis is a monster.
Good dude, though, gentle giant.
Don't drink with him.
Woo, my Lord. I feel like it'd be your last time drinking anything.
You will have instant liver and kidney failure.
Yeah, and then he'll drink I watched this man drink a whole bottle, and he just did this all night.
I seen him in deadlift strength take down a Magnum bottle.
The big boy. The big fat boy that's like this.
Tall boy in the night.
Huh? That's real. That's love of the game. They playing a different game.
Arvydas Sabonis. That went from passing the basketball to passing the bottle in an instant.
Pass
with
the Cavassier immediately.
Rasheed Wallace.
You don't get to hear it because it's a look, but the look on Bonzi Wells' face when he said he saw Sabonis just hammer a bottle down and not blink, it was like Barney from The Simpsons. Like when he pounds something, it's like nothing. There's no change to Sabonis.
That is the least surprising thing that I've heard of Arvydas Sabonis.
Look, man, I saw him eat at Benihana once when I was a kid. The food he put down was legendary.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's a large man putting down a lot of food? I mean, you have to remember, he's
enormous.
He's Andre the Giant size. Like, he's massive. He's 7'3", 370 pounds. Yeah. He's enormous.
I was always led to believe Andre the Giant was 7'5", 558 pounds.
Yeah, I was not.
No.
You're telling me the ring announcers in WWF lied all those years too?
I feel like we're having a come to Jesus moment with Jeff Rust and the facts that he may have learned in his youths.
Real to me.
I mean, Shaq was 7'1", 430 pounds. That was real.
And he was bigger than Sabonis. Yeah. Like you would look at him and
visibly
you'd be like,
and go, whoa.
My man is very large.
Arvydas might have the biggest head in the history of human beings, though.
Oh, really?
His head was like one of those, like, what do you call it? Moonshine jugs. Mm-hmm. It's like, it was that big.
He's an enormous human being.
Just huge dome.
I've long said that if you were to take, and obviously now it would not be a good life choice by me, but if I could go back in my 20s, you're in your prime drinking days, right?
Yeah.
I always said, Arvydas Sabonis would probably be the one that you would have just a phenomenal time with.
Oh God,
like
yes.
he like she'd said, he was a gentle giant,
Mhm.
but a night out on the town with Arvydas Sabonis, he may be number 2 on my all-time Blazers list because Bill Walton would be number 1.
Yeah,
I mean, Bill Walton.
you would be tripping balls.
Well, no, he would be, but I'd be
Even
along
without
for the ride.
mushrooms.
Yeah, I'd be along for that ride.
I think you would just end up. God, there was a comedian the other day. He was like, "Yeah, no, I was. It might have been with Bert Kreischer. He was like, yeah, I was over at this other comedian's house, and we were on the computer doing something, and he's like, yeah, I'm a little hot. I'm gonna drink some water, and he didn't realize that he had drank the water, which was nothing but concentrated mushrooms.
What?
Yeah, that
They
he had
do
got.
that?
Oh yeah, they had gotten ready for a trip to one of the festivals in the middle of California, whatever it was.
Oh boy.
And he's like, yeah, you basically drank 20 hits of acid. So
Oh man.
congratulations on the ride you're going to take.
Oh my god.
So I imagine Bill Walton partying with him probably would include a trip like that.
It's like that episode of that 70s show when the Foremans had a garage sale and Red and Kitty got a hold of Hyde's brownies.
Yeah. Yeah. I think those are easily my top 2. Number 3 is a little bit difficult. Like if I'm going my top 3 Blazers to go out on a night of the town with all time, I mean, now it's like a dead or alive question.
Yeah.
But it would be Walton, Sabonis, and then number 3 is tough. Like because I think Kevin Duckworth would have been a great time.
Duck would have been a great time.
I think
Cliffy would have been some fun.
Cliffy would have been fun.
Uncle Spliffy.
Yeah.
Cliffy would have been a good time.
I do love that both Bonzi and Sheet in that throw in Detlef.
Yeah, Detlef Shrimp would. I mean, another.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think of him, German power drinker.
Yeah.
That was a guy who he got after it.
Basically,
up in Seattle.
all of the foreign players would have been good times.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr talked about Tony Kukoc and the stuff that he used to do before and after games. Rodman was probably too much. I don't know if I'd want to hang with Rodman. They like that borders on trouble.
Yeah, I think I'm solid with my 3. Walton, Arvydas, Duck.
Yeah, I think that's
a good 3. It's a good 3. I want to throw in there. I'd like to throw Chris Kaman out there as a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think if you want to go shooting in the woods with him, you would probably have that at your disposal.
Yep.
I think Jerome would have been fun.
I'm trying to think of some of the recent guys.
Well, I bet going out for a night on the town with Rudy and Sergio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you were single back then, you just throw Rudy across the bar and.
I mean, if you're because
bring him back.
Here's the thing: if you were in his inner circle, like Zebo was known as
the Hoops family, they partied deep. They
went hard.
I literally partied alongside them.
Yeah,
a couple different times at some.
And he was a happy guy.
Yeah,
and so that probably would have been.
It was
fun.
the rest of his crew.
Unk, not so much.
Yeah, no,
not so much.
We got a Maurice Lucas in here on the Vancouver Ford text line.
Mo would definitely be up there.
A
lot of the more recent guys are much more, either they got here older or they're more
Sheed
family.
would have been awesome.
Oh yeah,
like Sheed.
I mean, I was throwing Bonzi and Sheed like off just because.
Yeah.
But like the more recent guys, most of them were either older or family guys, very buttoned up. Like don't get me wrong, Dame have a good time, but Dame, CJ, like they were more buttoned up. That went not nearly.
He's just going to drink wine with CJ.
Oh come on, yeah, and spending the night in the library on a Saturday night. That's CJ.
I know you hate him. I think a night with Mello would be great though. That would have been a fun time.
Yeah, Melo's the kind of guy that would probably end up the same kind of club that Plaxico Burress shot himself at. So yeah.
Ooh, Robin Lopez.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good one.
Robin Lopez would. I mean, that would have been weird.
You just don't ever bring up basketball.
No.
Probably gonna be watching a lot of Muppets.
Yeah.
lot of Disney talk.
This texter says, I saw Myers Leonard and Wes Matthews out all the time. They were lame.
Myers did a lot of Chipotle.
That's not going out.
No, I'm just saying, like
going to
Chipotle.
Again,
Myers and Ellie were together young, so they weren't. He wasn't out going too crazy.
Yeah. Sabonis.
Sabonis is a good one.
Sabonis is a good one.
Yeah.
It depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You know, it all depends on what you're looking for. But I mean, Walton, Sabonis, Duck. I feel very comfortable with that top three. I think that'd be a good time. Go fishing with Duck. Back in the day.
Oh God, yeah.
You know,
start the day fishing, end the day partying.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Sign me up. Sign me up. God bless Sheed for regaling us with those, and Bonzi, Bonzi was in there too.
And that's the thing is, I would love to get more of like this guy he did this insane thing. Yeah. Those that's what I love about Jeff Teague's podcast is you get more of that because everybody's just self-deprecating on there as opposed to like Rashad McCants being on with Gilbert Arenas talking about how his team from Macedonia was going to would compete with the Nuggets. It's like, can you please check your ego, dude? You weren't even that good in the NBA. Chill.
I saw Alan Crabb the year he was a rookie, and he was just randomly walking in Chinatown at like 3 a.m.
Well, it's because Alan Crabb likes strip clubs.
That's pretty rare in the NBA.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean,
man.
Crabb was in look. Alan Crabb went full James Harden and paid for some tuitions. Okay,
supporting single moms.
Mm-hmm. Well, good.
So yeah,
let's not throw Lou Williams out of that too. Like,
Harden
is the poster boy.
Look,
Lou Williams.
I'm not denigrating him. I'm just saying the number of reports that I got from people like, "Hey, I'm at the strip club right now. You wouldn't believe who's here." I'd say Alan Crabb in response, like, "How did you know?" I'm like, Al.
Yeah. I mean, like,
if you know, you know.
Lou Williams risked it all to go to Magic City. He left the bubble. And to go to Magic City in Atlanta.
Get done in by Jack Harlow.
And he was like, I wanted some wings. I was there for a birthday party. It's like, that's not why you were supposed to be leaving the bubble, sir. It was a family emergency. He's like, you don't know who works there that I know? I could be related to people there.
I don't think the wings were the part of the chicken he was going there for.
Yeah, no, for sure. The thighs?
Yeah, that's it.
Who? Greg Oden would have been a good time, too.
I know somebody who used to clean his carpets, and you're not wrong.
Oh,
okay.
God.
That sounds...
I don't want to know anymore.
I kind of do, but...
God. Does he work for ServPro or something?
You need to put that on the Patreon. You got to pay for that. That's extra.
There were still people there when he came to clean multiple times.
Bookmark that for a dead day. Huh? Day after the All-Star game. There we go.
Good times.
All right. Got some baseball stuff coming up next. You want some baseball stuff?
Sure.
We have a new mutant in the world of baseball, and it just keeps getting better. Next on The Fan. I have a new baseball player I've fallen in love with.
Go on.
James Wood. You seen this kid?
Yes.
An absolute unit. Oh, which, by the way, you can go to the fan merch locker at 1080thefan.com, and you can get our absolute unit t-shirt that is now for sale at 1080thefan.com. No, James Wood is a 21-year-old outfielder for the Washington Nationals.
I traded for him on my MLB The Show team when I restarted the Cardinals.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
All right. That was a good call by you.
Yep.
The Nationals restarted their organization when they traded Juan Soto. And they did it
Got him back.
James Wood as part of the trade package for Juan Soto to the Padres. He was the 62nd overall prospect or overall draftee. Was it three years ago? And San Diego gave him up because second-round pick, a lot of upside. But he enters baseball as, depending on where you look, Baseball America has him as the number 1 prospect in baseball. Most other places, MLB has him at number 2 in minor league system, but they called him up, and he's only played in 2 games. But in 2 games, the 6'7", 235-pound outfielder.
Telling you, man, they're making these baseball players in labs now, and I love it.
He has already recorded the second fastest time on the base paths,
which again,
30.2 feet per second.
At 6'7". This isn't Ricky Henderson.
It's not Bobby Witt Jr., who is the fastest at 30.5.
And Bobby's like 5'10", 190.
This is an absolute monster on the base paths. His first at-bat, he got a hit. The ball came off the bat at 106 miles per hour. He is a freak. He's Ellie De La Cruz, O'Neill Cruz, but from the state of Maryland. He's from the D.C. area. He's only 21 years old, and I am enthralled watching this kid.
The super freaks are coming to baseball. And I love it.
His story's crazy, too. I was reading an article about him. He's from the D.C. area. His dad is in the Richmond University Hall of Fame, was a basketball player there. His sister was all Big Ten at Northwestern as a basketball player. His mom is like a scientist, and apparently growing up, he was like, I was better at basketball, but baseball was more fun to me. So he was just like, I'm just going to choose baseball instead.
There you go.
And now he's 6'7", 235, and a freak. Could you imagine this?
Mashing the ball.
He's the number 2 prospect in baseball, and he was better at basketball growing up. Like the athletic freak.
This is what I was talking about the other day when Team USA and soccer, they need to find more of these. Not the 6'7" freaks, but the guys that had the tools for their development. The guys that like, he's quote unquote better at basketball. Well, yes and no, in the sense of like, he's doing the thing that's probably the hardest to do in sports, which is to hit a baseball.
His hand-eye coordination, you think of, we know what the raw athleticism is, right? He is big
and incredibly fast.
He hit in high school, he hit like a 500-foot home run into the wind.
Yeah.
Right? So he's big, strong, fast, and his hand-eye coordination
is elite.
Like, he is just an absolute freak among freaks. And I love when guys like this come up in baseball, because everybody's like, oh, the old joke of anybody can play baseball. Look at old big fat Babe Ruth out there, you know. He was a great baseball player. And we all get our jokes off on guys like Cecil Fielder and Bartolo Colon, who they look like they're mechanics. They don't look like they're out there as elite athletes. But then you get guys like this and you go, oh dear Lord.
Yeah. Or O'Neill Cruz or
Ellie De La Cruz or Aaron Judge.
Yeah. And you're going, huh?
Yeah.
Like 10, 12 years ago, it was basically just Pujols and roided out Rodriguez that were like different looking Major League Baseball players. Trout, when he kind of hit his peak, and even then, like, still, he was big, but he wasn't. Then you got Aaron Judge, and you went, that's different in baseball. And now you've got these 3 freaks. And I think it's going to keep coming and coming and coming as we get away from it being the little guy's sport.
Yeah.
And I think it's becoming this, honestly, across sports. You're seeing across sports, everyone's getting bigger. The NHL used to be the little skaters. Now you're getting guys that are bigger, stronger, faster, and it's like, oh, these are like J.J. Watt grew up playing hockey. What happened if him and TJ, instead of playing football, they became hockey players? And you've got these two 6'5", 280-pound monsters.
Well, Jason Kelce was an elite hockey player growing up.
Like, that's the thing is, like, you're seeing this across sports. It's not just in the NFL. Baseball, football, basketball. I'm literally watching over Dusty's shoulder France and Turkey, and I'm watching 7'5" Victor Wembanyama. Yeah. It's just happening across sports. They're just getting bigger.
Yeah. I'm enthralled by this young man. He is going to be something as we go through and start watching. And look, there's a lot of variables that can happen in baseball, right? You know, I was talking with the big boss man. He was in here before the show, and we were talking about James Wood. And he was saying he reminds me of Mickey Mantle, right? Because Mickey Mantle was this 6'5", mountain of a man that everybody's like, oh my God, how fast is he? Well, the speed on Mantle, when he tripped over the sprinkler head, tore up his knee, he was never the same again, right? From a speed aspect, still one of the best baseball players ever. But you sit there and you go, how many things can happen to a guy where a bright young career like this kind of falls apart on you? And when you are 6'7" and 235 pounds, look, you can get hurt a lot easier. We see this in every sport. The bigger, stronger, faster you are, the more prone to injuries you are. Aaron Judge is a prime example of this.
He's only had 2 good seasons of consistent play.
But when it's there, it's incredible to see. And this is where you just hope that this young man stays alive, because his personality seems like he gets it. He's apparently he's very quiet, but a very personable guy and very humble in his nature. And look, we need American stars in baseball right now, desperately.
Yes. Good Lord.
For the popularity of the game. And then you add on top of it, like, he's young, black male who's thriving in baseball. And if he can become a star in baseball, like, that can mean a ton for the game.
Yes, and getting young black men back into baseball.
Yes.
Which is, as they talked about down in Alabama, has been a problem. There was only one black player, Mason Wynn, on the active roster for either the Giants or the Cardinals, 2 teams that have been probably the 2 of the friendliest to African-American and putting black players into baseball.
You're talking about the game in Rickwood Stadium,
yes, celebrating
a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And there was only one black player
between both teams.
And so that is where a guy like James Wood, an exciting player who is out there in his first week in Major League Baseball saying, I thought baseball was more fun. That's why I went and played baseball, because I was a better basketball player, but baseball was more fun to me. And we talked about this yesterday with American soccer and the accessibility of the sport and pricing out, and how soccer and baseball has just become 2 sports where they price everyone out at such a young age. And we lose so many, regardless of color.
Yes.
We lose so many athletes because it's just like, I can't afford to pay $1,500 to play for your 3-month travel team. And that's before we pay our tournament fees and our travel costs of going in housing. Like, it's becoming way too expensive for a lot of people. And I think it's really important that the young American stars do come and they pop right when they get on stage. And I hope James Wood is that guy for American baseball players, because again, you have a guy who's 6'7" and 235 pounds, and his last name is Wood.
You should be wanting to tune in.
Swinging a wood bat. Yeah. Like, let's go. I'm in. I am all in on him. He plays for the Nationals, and that sucks.
Dennis Smith, James Wood, both like slinging that wood.
Yes. Totally different ways. Well, I don't want to rule it out.
Yeah,
but,
there you go.
Dennis Smith Jr., that was a hell of a tweet.
Lives on in infamy. All right, coming up next, the worst day on the web. Somebody's got to clean this up. They've got to address this. It's something that's near and dear to our hearts. And if you're an adult of around our age, you've probably experienced this. But first, there's the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
You ever had a Big Kahuna burger?
Now from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update, excuse me, Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. First on the Fan, turns out LeBron James won't be taking a pay cut after all. After the Lakers lost out on Klay Thompson, I'm Ron Burgundy. LeBron plans to sign a 2-year, $104 million max deal with a player option and a no-trade clause. Those Lakers announced the hiring of former Trailblazers head coach Nate McMillan and former Blazers assistant and NBA head coach Scotty Brooks as top assistants on new head coach J.J. Redick's staff. Bronny James has signed his rookie contract with the Lakers, 4 years, $7.9 million with a team option in the fourth season. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting guard forward Alec Burks has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Heat, and Woj also reporting Joe Ingles signing a 1-year deal with the Timberwolves. The Mariners' free fall continues. Losers of 3 straight and 9 of their last 12. Game 2 against the Orioles tonight at T-Mobile Park, 7:10 first pitch on Root Sports. Logan Gilbert starting for Seattle, Dean Kramer for Baltimore. Mariners AL West lead down to just 3 games. For sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now, Window Nation brings you on-demand videos. Watch Window Nation's window into 1080 The Fan. Time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Well, that sucks.
Look, if you've ever partaken in the burrito bowl, you've had good ones and you've had bad ones from the old Chipotle. There's been an unofficial study done. This is from Fortune.com. A group from Wells Fargo, an analyst, ordered 75 burrito bowls over the course of a couple weeks to put the portion size diminishing test on record.
Okay, so explain this to folks out there.
So a group of analysts from Wells Fargo.
No. As to why this would even start.
Yeah, let me get there. They're doing all of this because if you've been to Chipotle in the last, say, probably post-pandemic, you may have noticed your burrito bowl not feeling as hefty as it once did. I remember a couple years ago, let's say pre-pandemic, if I picked up my burrito bowl and I didn't have like a deadlift grunt behind it, I was surprised.
Okay.
Like, it was a hefty. It's like, ooh, if I threw this at somebody, this would cause damage. Now it feels like it might float through the air sometimes.
Okay.
And I have, in particular, the location in Newburgh has the Chipotle, the drive-through, which is very convenient. If I'm in a hurry on my way home or something along those lines, I can put my order in while I'm here, not in the parking lot. Definitely not while I'm driving. Certainly never gonna do that. Drive safe. Don't text and drive. But I've picked them up before, and I go, I've even when they hand it to me in the bag, I'm kind of like, I do the bag jingle, like.
Doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right.
That doesn't feel hefty enough. But yeah, it's been called out across social media, left, right, and center, and other articles over the past couple of years that Chipotle has cut back. Their CEO is pushing back against that and saying that that hasn't happened. That's for sure. Not only that, if you want to have a heftier burrito, you can give the burrito maker a look, and they'll go ahead and.
I've seen this before. These are TikTok trend where you're like, hey man, as they're making the burrito bowl going down the line, you give them like give me a little something there, and they'll hook you up a little bit more.
Which, okay, but there's been rapid variance between the burrito bowls because how do we know? Well, they did a 75 burrito bowl test across 10 different locations in New York City.
All right, what do we got?
So, the median bowl, let's see, that's how you know already. They already have median bowl weight. The median bowl ordered online and in person weighed about the same, according to the notes. But the weight of the burrito bowls varied drastically in each category. For in-person orders, the heaviest bowl weighed 47% more than the lightest. However, the weight varied even more for digital orders, with the heaviest bowl weighing 87% more than the lightest bowl. So
87%?
But I think the reason you're getting
Lord.
Well, think about this.
Like that's almost twice as much.
The reason why is because the variability. They're not saying like the total weight difference. The online one is getting significantly lighter.
Right.
That's why there's so much more variance. Whereas
they're not looking at you going, you need a little bit more. Pellets.
Not just that. A lot of times they're online order and they're just flying through them. They're just trying to get them out the door, as opposed to you can't do that with somebody standing in front of you because they'll look at you and go, "Hey, bro, bring it back there."
You whistle at people?
No, I'm saying like
that's what you do.
I went to New York.
you probably have a lot of spit weighing down your.
I remember one time when I was bartending, some dude snapped his fingers at me, and I paused what I was doing, walked down to that end of the bar, and I said, "I'm not a dog," and I walked back and finished what I was doing.
I was going full New Yorker there, like, hey, come on.
No.
Whatever. But also, if they spit on your food, I mean, they'd have to like hawk to right there on it.
Yeah.
Because
don't put that past them.
It is New York. Yeah, it's fair too. But it's fair for both. Yeah, that part. They found that at 13.8 ounces, the smallest burrito bowl weighed just a little bit more than the average can of soda.
Oh. Yikes.
Yes.
I think that says a lot about the size of sodas, too.
Yes.
I mean, I think both things can be, whoa.
Well, he just said a can of soda.
Yeah.
So, a 12-ounce can.
12-ounce can stuff. It's not that much.
Not that heavy.
But the former CEO and founder of Chipotle, Steve Ellis, says that I've never experienced someone walking out of Chipotle hungry in my 30-some-odd years. I mean, it just doesn't happen. So those complain about portion sizes, I'm not quite sure I get it, but I understand it's a thing out there.
Yeah, because I'm sure that whenever he walks into a Chipotle, he's probably not wearing a badge that says "I'm the boss."
I literally founded this.
I'm going to tell you this right now. This is why I'm a Victoricos man.
Yeah,
Never
right?
had this problem.
Nope.
Hefty burritos
I'll tell
every
you
time.
That look at when you're talking about a burrito, like when you've got some heft to it, a burrito that you can do physical damage if thrown at somebody.
The old Rob Perez test.
Hey,
you can do some curls.
Yes. Absolutely.
right.
I've never picked up a Victor Rico's breakfast burrito and not gone,
This is what I'm talking about.
This is a dainty burrito.
This is what I'm talking about.
See, this is what I'm saying. They do the same thing, and I've mentioned this to you before. They do something to their tortilla at Victor Rico's. It's not just steaming it. I don't know if it's that they like make them with love, but it's steamed and stretched around. It's like stretched to capacity without bursting.
It's that masa. They cut it with crack.
Whatever it is, man. Like you take a bite of that breakfast burrito, and it's like, I want more in my face hole now.
Hey, we got 8 days in the Fan Golf Classic morning round.
Yeah, I need them to be on my path both to and from work, and they are not.
You might be able to do that.
Yeah. We need to make a little establishment. I mean, do I need to be an investor in a new facility?
Look at this.
What do we got?
Fan Golf Classic weather, 85.
Oh, that's
and sunny.
Perfect.
85. It goes from 95 on Tuesday right on down to 85 on Thursday.
That's absolutely wonderful. We love to see it here.
It's what we need. It's what the people need for the Fan Golf Classic.
So,
Good thing I'll be here in this temperature-controlled control room.
This is the data that people need, though. I'm glad that I'm sure that this was not funded by Wells Fargo in any way. This was just an analyst deflecting their duties on a day-to-day and doing what the people really need, which is finding out if the Chipotle burrito bowls are in fact they're being
cut back.
skimped on
They are.
when you do the online order. You need to stand there. You need to
go
bully
online.
them.
Yeah.
Don't whistle at them like Danny. That's how you get a Haktua burrito.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, hey, look, maybe that's your thing. Again, this is a show.
Could be.
We don't kink shame.
Maybe a little Visine in your drink.
Could be.
Oof.
Oh. Do you ever do that as a
Nope.
bartender?
Mm-mm. I have scruples.
Yeah, said the guy who farted next to the woman.
Well, that didn't poison anybody.
I don't know, dude.
Well, not directly. I guess the only thing that poisoned was that relationship.
I don't know, man.
Perhaps some pink eye.
I don't know. You crop dusted a table and they broke up. I think that
Guilty as charged.
I don't think that right there is your best defense of it didn't poison anybody. I mean, it was bad enough to end a relationship.
Good.
Couldn't have been you.
Nope.
Couldn't have been you.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, so make sure you go into Chipotle to get your burrito. Don't crop dust people and blame it on them either. Coming
I
up
didn't
next,
blame it on them. I just was silent about
yeah,
it.
exactly. Same thing.
Just omitted the fact.
We talked about Jontay Porter when he got popped for skimping on his own basketball games and gambling on them. That it might have larger implications because it was across national lines. He has been charged with a federal felony, and that is gaining more and more traction as part of a larger betting ring scandal. We'll get into that more coming up here on Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan. The headline currently reads, banned NBA player Jontay Porter to be charged with felony.
Oh, no way. Who could have saw this coming?
Oh, no way. We definitely didn't say that the second that news broke. Federal prosecutors in Brooklyn have filed what's known as a criminal information sheet today, actually yesterday now, on Tuesday. The document does not specify the court date, but it does show the case is related to an existing prosecution of 4 men charged with scheming to cash in on tips from a player about his plans to exit 2 games early. And this is what I said. It's like there's multiple things going on here. Number one, it's across international lines. Number two, because of the number of people and the money involved, you can start looking at RICO charges. Like this is how they brought down gangsters. And if you told me that this ended up becoming back to like some kind of crime boss kind of thing, it would not surprise me in the least bit.
Look, and this is something that when you look at the people say gambling is turning up all of these things. Well, this is what the watchdogs overseeing gambling are going to be curtailing, and it is the illegal sports gambling for the advantages that we see here. And look, this we know because of how many betting scandals we've come across in the last century alone. Or you can go over a century and go back to the Black Sox scandal of 1919, right? Where there's always people in the shady world of gambling that are looking for an advantage, and they're looking for any kind of thread that they can pull on somebody. Well, we found one right in front of our eyes, and they were doing it on DraftKings, right?
Oh, God. Which,
and this
at least like eBay and do it with like an off-book guy.
Go with the bookie.
Because for the love of God, at least there's not a record of your digital transactions. You can spoof some stuff in the actual written books. The ledger will get you, but
they're getting the dum-dums.
But you're literally geotagged with your name, where you were, and what time you did it.
Hell, we've seen the Detroit Lions had 6 players popped for not betting on football, but betting within the facility because they could tell whether they were in the locker room or in the parking lot.
Because I think they get it down to 3 square meters, the GPS fencing.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And they're popping people left and right for it. And this won't be the first, this won't be the last, but what it will be is another cautionary tale to any young athlete that comes through. And these are going to be the things that actually stick with young athletes that sit through every single year, your rookie symposium, or every single year in college sports. They have somebody in that talks to you about, do not gamble, you will get caught, you will get busted. It's not good. It happens at every single level, for God's sakes. I had to sit through them, and I was like, nobody wants to bet on our games. Why would anybody want to bet on ours?
The thing about this isn't just getting fined. This isn't getting suspended. This isn't even just getting banned from the league. He's looking at legitimate jail time.
He's looking at, and look, it's good. Somebody's going to go to prison for it, and that's going to be the one that people all of a sudden start paying attention when the rookie symposium, when they start telling you, here's Jontay Porter. Here's his brother, Michael Porter.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Porter still plays in the NBA. Jontay Porter is in prison.
Federal.
He was in the NBA, and now he's not. Which one do you want to be?
One's made $175 million. The other one's paying back restitution.
Yeah.
There's not because here's the thing. In order for it to be quote unquote worth it, you would have to justify tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you are talking about federal prison time.
Nobody wants that.
All because you are trying to. You cannot try to steal from these books. Back in the day, they just whack you. Like, I'm joking, but also I'm dead serious. You try to scam from Vegas, you just disappeared. You tried to steal from Atlantic City, you just disappeared.
Yeah, not good.
This is the same thing. It's just you're just putting a little veneer on the front. So if you think that they're just going to sit by and let you do that, you're out of your bleeping mind.
Not going to happen.
So it sucks for Jontay Porter, but somebody was going to be the canary in the coal mine. And
sacrificial lamb is there.
So that's the latest on Jontay Porter. Coming up next, hour number 3. the best fireworks.
Yeah, we need to get to it.
We need to hammer the list. We are a
Yep.
day away, and yes, we are a day away. Don't be firing them off tonight. I've graduated from it's the 3rd. Like, go ahead and have some fun. To I'm grumpy old man. Fire them off on the 4th. Stop doing it ahead of time.
Ooh, I got another spin on that because a lot of guys that you served with.
Mhm.
It is hell for veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder who they can remove themselves from certain areas. They can prepare themselves and brace themselves for the 4th of July in those festivities. But it is absolutely terrible when those fireworks start going off a week before, the day before, the week after for those men and women, because when it's unexpected, those loud booms aren't just happy-go-lucky fireworks going off.
But with that in mind, what are the best fireworks to
I
fire
got
off
some.
on the 4th?
I got some.
Hour number 3 on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Number 3 on a Wednesday afternoon, July 3rd, day before American independence. Hoorah. Whether you're watching along on youtube.com/1080thefam, twitch.tv/1080thefam, or listening on 1080am the Fam, we appreciate you. We love you. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for partying. And a reminder, you can come party with us next week. Langdon Farms Golf Club, the 10th annual Fan Golf Classic, brought to you by Autotown GMC. Afternoon round sold out. There's a couple morning round slots left. Matt's Barbecue's out there, slanging meat. That's right. Slanging meats. Victorica's out there with their world famous and amazing hefty breakfast burritos. I like sausage.
They're very good.
Little chorizo.
They're very good burritos.
You can warm up for your round at the Michelob Ultra driving range. And then a reminder, all of us, Dirt and Sprague, Dusty and I, Isaac and Suk will be out there all day trotting around the golf course. Beverages in hand, of course, and a golf cart, mostly making your day both amazing and terrible at the same time.
Wait, why? Why would it be terrible? What?
It's a little bit of give, a little bit of take. Come on now, I'm selling it. Buy with me here. A reminder, we will take our turns through the par 3 6th, brought to you by Doers, where, let's be honest, I think we'll all end up just kind of saddling into.
Yeah, that'll be good. It'll be a good little spot to be at. And it's going to be a great
84
time.
degrees?
85 degrees and beautiful.
Babe, burn my butt.
Nice and sunny a week from tomorrow.
I think I might go full Lane Kiffin. Bring out the visor.
Oh, that would be a look.
Yeah? Long hair, visor? Like that?
No,
long hair don't care?
Try it. You could try it. Like, you have to commit to a visor if you become visor guy. You don't dabble in a visor.
I did.
Visors are like
year of high school.
Visors are like bow ties.
No.
You can't dabble in them. You have to commit to them. And if you don't, then people notice.
Yeah, I had multiple visors from Abercrombie sophomore year of high school.
That is the least surprising sentence you have said today.
People don't forget.
No.
It was third grade.
No. It happened. It's what
But
happens.
did you commit to it with multiple visors? You committed to. See, you got to commit.
Yeah, visor guy all the time.
Commit.
The hard part was making sure you had to spike the hair properly so it sat up over the visor. Because I had the frosted tips.
Of course you did.
You just gotta keep living.
How many
man.
times did you wear the visor
Livin.
upside down?
No, never did that.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Backwards?
It wasn't that douchey.
Backwards as a joke every now and then, flip it around. Half cocked a little bit. It may have occasionally slid a few degrees left or right.
There we go. A little Fernando Rodney action.
Slight tilt. Off axis ever slightly. But mostly it was standard visor, but hair spiked up behind it.
Yeah, wow. I mean, the early 2000s were a hell of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's... Well,
it was. I mean, we can't be judged.
Yeah, 99. Yeah.
We can't be judged. Just like we can't judge the kids now. Which baggy pants are back. Baggy pants are back for the kids.
Crew socks will never be cool. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm not going to relent.
That's a weird thing.
I finally had to because my wife kept making fun of me for pushing down my socks.
Yes, you know why? Because you don't have a weird ankle tan now.
Yeah, you don't want to have.
That's the whole point of the ankle socks. We didn't want to look like hobos and with weird ankle tans.
Yep.
Tell you what, you know who else likes fireworks? Not only hobos, everyone. Well, everyone except dogs.
Dogs don't like fireworks, but
my dogs don't like fireworks. They're struggling with them. But I want to give them a doggy tranquilizer so we can go out and blow stuff up.
Yeah, and look, the fireworks were way different back when we were growing up because we used to have, bottle rockets, piccolo Petes, Roman candles.
The fact that you could, hammer the powder out of piccolo Pete and then combine it and then maybe wrap it in electrical tape and turn it into an explosive device.
I think that's what people mean by piccolo Petes. That would be it right there. There were far greater fireworks back in the day. I think everybody's go-to is when you get a big mortar and you see one of those. I love going to fireworks shows because of the big fireworks, big boom. You see the firework and then you hear it. Boosh, the big waterfall fireworks. Those are probably my favorite ones. But if you're going like backyard, accessible to us, I gotta go with the standard. The Roman candle is probably my favorite one. because of
Roman candle fights.
Roman candle fights. Yeah. Those used to happen quite often.
Bottle rocket fights also up there. Can do damage though.
Oh man, bottle rocket, but they go boom.
Yeah, they can. I'm saying they do damage.
That's not that. Nope. Never did the bottle rocket fights because one, you never knew where it was going too. Like you were.
That was half the fun.
Your fun and my fun were different.
You're pointing at him, and maybe
You had no idea. Could go left, could go right, could go up. No idea. That is a wild one right there. Like
that was the firing the arrow into the sky of fireworks.
Yeah, but at least like when you fire the arrow into the sky, like you had the trajectory. You knew kind of where it was gonna go.
Wind could push it around a little bit. Yeah,
but the bottle rocket was like, nope, YOLO.
Yeah, no, there's no aerodynamics to it. The slipstream could vary quite often.
The snake and the tank were the two worst. They were the two worst.
The tank never moved. It always gets stuck on one of the cardboard wheels.
Right? Did they not have any sort of quality assurance in the tank firework department?
Considering they were made in a Chinese factory, no, Bob. No, they didn't.
And they cost, about $0.25 a piece?
Oof.
Yeah.
To make?
I meant to buy.
Okay, yeah, about 2 cents to make.
Yeah.
The wildest thing is like you can go to some place in the South, like I don't know if this is still the case in Tennessee, but the state of Tennessee, like fireworks were legal year round. So you just like big fireworks store is like right next to a liquor store. There was this fireworks / liquor store just outside of Knoxville.
That's always a great juxtaposition.
It just seems like you know your audience, right?
Yeah, booze and explosives.
You're going right there. It's a one-stop shop. And
there's a reason why the ATF has those three together.
Bingo. I remember going and just being like, you could buy these year round. Like you could, and their big ones go up in the air, go boom. I understand. The fireworks are pretty dangerous.
North Dakota, you could buy fireworks year round, and there was a warehouse literally 4 miles on the highway down. But so for those that don't know,
well, that's because for half the year in North Dakota, nothing will catch on fire.
Not only that, there's nothing there to catch on fire, even in the summer. It's just barren. But there's a 13-mile stretch from the city of North Dakota to the west to Grand Forks Air Force Base. Smack in the middle of that is a massive warehouse where you could buy fireworks year-round. They knew what they were doing.
Jeez. Like, these guys like to make things go boom all the time.
Yeah, I mean, where are we going to set up this fireworks stand in the middle of... No, don't set it up in the middle of nowhere. Set it up next to the military base.
Saturn missile and a chain link fence and run away from it. Exhilarating. I don't know that.
Oh, man.
I don't know that
Saturn
one.
missile story. When I was a kid. For those that don't know, Saturn missile, I believe it had 50 birthday candle sized missiles. And you light it's a box that looks like a something out of a military unit, like an actual missile launcher.
Mm-hmm.
They're just stacked in rows, right? I don't know what caused it. I think one of them might have tripped over it when they lit it, and it flipped and rolled. And there was a crowd of there's 30 of us that all went over to one house for this fireworks show.
Air
quotes, and 50 missiles. And they all go out and they're all it's basically 50 little bottle rockets.
Yeah.
And it's just one firing off after another. And it's chasing people from the ages of 5 to 60. All over.
Jeez.
All over. Because everybody's sitting in their lawn chairs and maybe a few people or a few drinks deep. And it was complete and utter mayhem.
Yeah, that's...
No one was seriously injured, but it was... They made sure that they secured the fireworks going forward. I believe it was the next year we had a mortar tube fall over and blew up in the cul-de-sac.
See, this is why it is for the best that we leave it to the professionals. And by professionals, I mean like the city workers that put on these fireworks shows. And because at least they have to take some sort of training video for it, right?
Do like that. The other one, what was the little they look like little wasps, and that you light them and they just fly around literally ever. They're like heat-seeking missiles of death. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
they're like the size of your thumb.
Mm-hmm. I know.
They weren't not the
killer bees.
Yes,
those are killer bees.
Killer bees.
Killer bees.
Yeah, ground flowers is another one that you could hammer out the powders out of and use electrical tape and turn into explosive devices too.
Seems like
you can do that with quite a few.
You were groomed for the military
at a young age, yeah.
Yeah.
I had again the neighborhood friends who used to babysit me, the ones who put Child's Play on when I was 5 or 6 years old, were the ones who taught me how to make improvised explosive devices.
That sounds about right.
Don't do it, kids. It's dangerous, and also I believe it's illegal now to tamper with fireworks.
I could see why.
Yeah, I mean, as the Vancouver Vortex line points out, also don't put your fireworks anywhere near the Columbia Gorge, dummies.
Yeah, thanks, Deal. That's a good public service announcement.
Yeah.
That was awful.
In a giant wildfire caused by a 14-year-old kid with fireworks.
I always think of Joe Dirt on the 4th of July. I always think of Joe Dirt because one of my favorite scenes in that movie was when he rolls up on the fireworks stand.
So you're going to tell me that you don't have no black cats, no Roman candles, or screaming Mimis?
No.
Oh, come on, man. You don't got no lady fingers, buzz buttles, snicker bombs, church burners, finger blasters, gut busters, zippity doodads, or crap flappers?
No, I don't.
You're going to stand there owning a fireworks stand and tell me you don't have no whistling bungholes, no spleen splitters, whisker biscuits, honky lighters, hoosker doos, hoosker don'ts, cherry bombs, nipsy daisers, with or without the scooter stick, or one single whistling kitty chaser?
No. Because snakes and sparklers are the only ones I like.
Snakes and sparklers.
I love Joe Dirt so much. And he, in my mind, the person that loves the 4th of July and fireworks the most, they all look like Joe Dirt.
Yes.
I mean, the mullet could be at different lengths. It could be a non-mullet, but you're getting the cutoff. You're getting the jorts. You're getting the T-top Camaro. You're getting all of it.
Maybe I should lean into that tomorrow.
You should.
I do have a quasi-mullet going, so.
That's right.
It's getting there. This is going to sound insane, probably my earliest memory as a human being, 2-3 years old. And I don't know why this stuck in my head, maybe because it was mildly torturous. My parents had gotten me a onesie that zipped up, and it was like a teddy bear. So I was like a little teddy bear inside this thing, and it was the first time that they brought me around fireworks, and they dunked me in a bathtub so that I was soaking wet so that I wouldn't catch on fire in case something happened. So my clothes were wet. Keep in mind, I'm in Southern California where the temperatures were like 90 degrees, so I wasn't cold by any means.
There is so much of that story that just does not make sense.
I don't know why. I've never asked about that one, but
Southern California in the summer.
Yeah.
Yep, we're going to dress him like a teddy bear. You know what? Let's dunk him in water because God forbid we be around anybody responsible with fireworks, but in case he catches on fire.
Well, consider where I lived at the time, which
Good Lord.
was a trailer park in LA where not the best and the brightest were around. And so
little Danny's soaked in water.
It's a wet teddy bear.
Goodness gracious.
It was less about them protecting themselves and more about protecting me from others. It offered a layer of protection that was also wet, so I couldn't eat. If it blew up near me, it wouldn't, bother me. So I had like a nice little furry insulated layer, but also I was wet, so I wouldn't catch on fire.
Comanche Rip City has tweeted us. My buddy and I took 2 Piccolo Pete's to dispose of a beehive outside of my buddy's girlfriend, now his wife's, parents' house. Best and worst decision of our lives. I need more on that story. I need the follow-up on that. Because where did that really go wrong? And how wrong did it go? Did you burn down the future in-law's house?
Your firearms are useless against them!
Did the bees just come right for you?
Yeah.
How did this go so right and so wrong?
I may have direct knowledge of someone and someone else. You know the little tiny flags that they put in like HOAs, little American flags?
Yep.
Someone may or may not have gathered up a couple thousand of them and then filled their friend's parents' lawn with them in the middle of the night.
Okay.
That one. And then they may or may not have broken into their trailer and fallen asleep in there only to be caught in there in the morning.
Oh, wow. That's quite the story that you had. You yourself.
Somebody I knew.
Personally.
Somebody I knew.
Yes,
Wow.
a friend, air quotes.
This is why Danny needs to fill his time. All hours of every day needs to be filled. Because
Thank God for the upcoming release of EA Sports College Football 25.
Yeah, my goodness.
Not a moment too soon.
They should have released that right around like July 5th for Danny alone.
Well, and that's why I'm going to Vegas. Make sure we're good there.
Good. I mean, you need it. You need it. You need all of this downtime for yourself, my friend. Goodness gracious.
Vancouver Vortex line. He was a soggy Teddy Graham.
Which are the worst. Which are the absolute worst.
Also, the little Danny dunk tank.
Dude. Like,
look, this way, based on hearing some of your childhood, I'm surprised they didn't just say, "Here, Danny, come put on these polyester jammies."
And look, this text, this is where I was going with this, and we had a text coming right at the same time. Probably had a leash before they leashed kids. You are the reason why they leashed kids.
On the YouTube comments, Danny, was your backseat of your parents' truck a milk crate by any chance? No, I sat on the bed. Come on now. My wife and I were talking about the other day.
It was no Camino.
When was the last time you saw somebody riding in the back of a pickup truck on a road or a freeway?
Well,
I mean, it's different for you probably.
I probably see it a little bit
more
more
frequent,
often.
but I mean, like in general, like that was something we did normally.
Yeah.
Now it just does not happen.
I'll tell you what, it's been a long time since I've seen one on like Highway 26.
Yeah.
But that used to be a common occurrence.
A normal thing. There was nothing weird about that at all.
But you get me down on some of them rural roads toward the coast and whatnot, and you'll see it.
Yeah, but I mean, like
down
you
old Highway 53.
Is it still legal?
No.
Okay, that's why you don't. Okay.
Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna say. It used to be if all the seatbelts were occupied.
Yeah,
but I don't know about that anymore.
No, maybe that's why we don't see it anymore. I'm not keeping up on my traffic safety. It's my problem.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah. If you go any, I don't know, 15 miles east of Portland or 15 miles west of Portland,
it certainly gets much more lax.
You'll start seeing it.
Yeah,
you'll start seeing it on country roads, but I don't think you see it very often.
No, very interesting.
I remember we went played at the state tournament, Little League, and we were down in Medford, and we rode from the hotel, the Cedar Lodge. We did not have the best accommodations. There was a prostitute living in the room right next to the swimming pool.
Did they leave the light on for you?
Struck up several conversations with the 13 and 14-year-old boys that were staying in that motel. But I remember we drove from our motel to the game, and along the way was the strip club, which is called The Office. Got to get some work done.
There we go. Yeah.
Got to head to the office, folks.
So we are at a stoplight right next to the office, and as you can imagine, we've got a bed of the truck with our entire team was in the back of this truck, and we were all just hitting the cab of the truck, trying to get my dad to honk his horn
at the strip club.
At the strip club, which he did.
Yeah, there you go.
Which he did, and then we drove like 8 more miles to the field. Like that was just a different time.
Yeah, totally normal.
It was totally normal. It was like nobody batted an eye at it, and then
fully loaded, like 12 people in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah, it was also a time where we were riding in the back of the truck, and there were 2 coolers in it, and we tried to unload one. My dad's like, "No, that one is not for. That's not the water in the Gatorade.
That
boys.
one stays.
That one's gonna have to stay in the back of the truck here."
That's where we keep the shine.
That's when we get back to the motel. Because he wasn't trusting that motel. He wasn't going to leave.
God, no.
No, he wasn't going to leave his cooler of fine goods, probably Budweiser, in that motel.
Otherwise known as Rocky Mountain Gold.
He was taking it with us to the ballpark. Didn't know how that game was going to end.
It happens. It happens. All right. Be careful with your fireworks. Have some fun tomorrow. That's for sure. We'll have some more fun here when we come back. Every time one of these pops up, and they've been popping up more and more, Greg Maddox is just out everywhere. We've got to talk about just how ridiculous Greg Maddox stories can get here in Danny and Dusty. Today, the Fan. The one great thing about the Vancouver Ford text line is anytime you say something that...
I can't have this leading up to 4th of July. I will not have the British Bulldogs entrance theme on Rasslin' Wednesday.
Hey, you know why this is a good thing? You know why this is a good thing?
Because we took his ass out.
Have fun at work tomorrow, England.
Yeah, good spin zone.
I like it.
I did love the British Bulldog, though.
Yeah.
I like the British Bulldog.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Speaking of British Bulldogs,
Okay.
I stumbled across a thing on social media the other day. Again, the algorithm will get you every time.
Yep, get you.
I swear to God, it heard me talking about my dog is the smartest dumb dog on the face of the planet. And then the next day, there was like here's where your dog breed is ranked based on like education level. And they had like the PhD, master's, bachelor's, high school, middle school, elementary school. And Dallas is a Chiweenie Poo, which is Chihuahua, Poodle, Dachshund.
Sounds like a dog I would not want.
She's great. She gets a little yappy every now and then, but otherwise, smart dog. And she'll be very dumb about things. But the poodle is like in the PhD. Like, the poodle's one of the smartest dogs there is. At the elementary school level is Chihuahua.
Ooh, that's tough.
And it's like, yeah, that tracks. You're either really dumb or really smart. There's not a whole lot of. And I look at my wife like, what do you think old Tanner is? And she's like, don't know. Because he looks like a little miniature Rottweiler with a drawn out dachshund body, and we got a 23andMe him.
You don't know?
No clue. He's rescue.
I still have no idea where that came from.
I don't. Oh, algorithm coming out of British Bulldog, dog into that. Like that line? Chase that thing like a dog chases a squirrel.
That was the thought process of a man who is going out for a long weekend. I was like waiting for you to connect the dots, and then you finished, and I was like, "What is he talking about right now?"
Speaking of British Bulldogs, the Bulldog was on the chart too as one of the dumber dogs.
What the hell is going on? Caitlin Clark is white.
Not wrong. Also, reports are out there. She's leading WNBA vote getter for the All-Stars.
Dude,
crushing it.
Yeah, and
voting numbers are up like 600%.
600%. It's nuts to see. And
leading vote getter was 95,000 last year. Angel Reese at 5th is at almost 400,000.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really good for
growth.
the WNBA.
That's the Caitlin Clark effect.
It is. And look, last night they played the Aces, and it was in a nearly sold out T-Mobile Arena.
Yeah, they moved the game to the T-Mobile to it's like 3,000 more seats.
Yeah, and they do that often. I mean,
that's the Aces in particular. But when
Caitlin Clark is there, they do it for big games, and so they do it for Phoenix. They'll have it for. Now Caitlin Clark when she comes to town, like it's all good for the WNBA, and I think one of the things that I'm happy that ESPN and Fox Sports they've adjusted from is not everything is Caitlin Clark centric when it comes to the WNBA. Like last night, the Aces absolutely blasted Indiana, and they barely talked about Caitlin Clark. It was like, oh, her debut. They moved the game to T-Mobile, and then. That was about as much as
it was close at halftime, and then the fourth quarter it was over.
Yeah, they won by 20.
It was Jover.
Yeah, so I think that's good. That's good for the NBA. The conversation is actually growing and evolving into something else. Except for look how great Caitlin Clark is, and people are watching, and that's great for the growth of women's basketball.
Coming up next, again. The Greg Maddox is a gem. We got to dive into this, but first is the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
You mind if I have some of your tasty beverage to wash this down?
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction. Check out their award-winning outdoor living designs or schedule your free design consultation at vulcandc.com. First on The Fan. Turns out LeBron James won't be taking a pay cut after all. After the Lakers lost out on Klay Thompson, LeBron plans to sign a 2-year, $104 million max deal with a player option and a no-trade clause. The Lakers also announced the hiring of former Trailblazers head coach Nate McMillan and former Blazers assistant and NBA head coach Scotty Brooks as top assistants on J.J. Redick's staff. Adrian Wojnarowski reporting Blazers legend Joe Ingles signing a 1-year deal with the Timberwolves, and Woj also reporting guard forward Alec Burks has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Heat. Over on the diamond, the Mariners' free fall continues. Losers of 3 straight and 9 of their last 12. Game 2 against the Orioles this evening at T-Mobile Park. 7:10 first pitch on Root Sports. Logan Gilbert starting for Seattle, opposite Dean Kramer for Baltimore. Mariners AL West lead over the Astros, now down to just 3 games. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Tired of getting dinged by subscriptions? We won't send you a bill. Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
I don't know what's caused this over the last couple weeks, but I've seen a lot more Greg Maddox content. Perhaps he's just on the book tour or living it up or what, but I've seen him on podcasts and I've seen tweets and video compilations and tributes.
He's alive.
He's alive. He's super alive. I love this because I feel like we don't often enough, number one, talk about how great Greg Maddox was. But also, I hate when we do like the whole, oh, that guy was great, we should have talked about him more while they were alive thing.
We talked about Greg Maddox plenty, how good he was when he was, playing.
Yeah.
But also probably the most dominant player ever while simultaneously looking like a science teacher.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly insane because you watch highlights of him and you're like, that dude? I saw a clip of him the other day where he was able to...
Well, I will say the reason why you're starting to see him pop up is because Max Scherzer just passed him on the all-time strikeout list.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that happened over the weekend, and so you start to see a lot more of the Maddox love come through.
The storytelling of like, hey, remember how good he is?
Yep.
Or was? He was able to recall a game against the Marlins, I believe he said it was 96 against Moises Alou, as the greatest single pitch he had ever thrown. And it was a splitter that moved like you saw it on the video. It moved like 2.5 feet. And he goes, the best thing was, he goes, I struck out Moises with that pitch and I got the ball back. And the reason it did what it did is because somebody had hit a chopper just before that and taken a chunk out of the ball. So like there's like for a grip and spin rate, it was meant to spin. It was meant to just hook and grab air and just be kind of like a knuckleball going 88 miles an hour, which is terrifying to think about. But he goes, yeah, I got that ball back, threw a strike, the next pitch got fouled off, never got that ball back, and it evened it out all over again.
All over again.
But here's an insane Greg Maddox stat. Greg Maddox faced 20,421 batters over the course of his career. That alone is kind of unhinged to think about, like 20,000 batters?
It's because he was a pitcher, not a thrower. Like, I don't know if we're going to see pitchers face this many batters again because of the fact that a lot of guys are just throwing heat right now.
And he was a tactician. Only 310 or 1.5% saw a 3-0 count.
That's crazy.
Over half of them, 177, were intentional walks.
So 177 were intentional walks. I wonder how many of those are just Barry Bonds, period.
There's another note. This just came from Greg Maddox. He was doing some sit down for some podcast. I wish I could give him credit. I saw this about a week ago. They asked Greg Maddox what it was like to, number one, pitch to Barry Bonds and how you went about tactically pitching to Barry Bonds. And he said, Barry Bonds was the easiest player in baseball history to pitch to. And you could kind of hear this uproar in the room. He's like, whoa. Everyone kind of chill. He goes, you just walked him.
Yep. In 130 at-bats between Barry Bonds and Greg Maddox, Greg Maddox walked him 23. I mean...
Intentionally?
No.
Okay.
Those are just 23. Well, I would assume with knowing Greg Maddox...
Probably.
I would imagine all of them were intentional. Yeah.
Intentional, even if it was intentionally not intentional. It was like, we're not giving you anything to hit.
Because he also hit 8 homers, 3 doubles, and a triple off of him too. Of his 34 hits off Greg Maddox, 12 of them were extra base hits. Yeah, that's why you walk him.
Good.
Even the best.
Gracious.
Like Greg Maddox and Tony Gwynn stats are my favorite. And because yesterday a Tony Gwynn stat popped up that it blew my mind. Ryan Spader, Ace of Spader on Twitter, he said Tony Gwynn never batted 400 in a season.
Oh, yeah.
But he maintained a 400 batting average over a 184 game stretch that began 31 years ago, July 2nd, 1993. And it went through May 14th, 1995. He struck out just 26 times in 802 plate appearances during that stretch. That is wild. And you think of how great Greg Maddox was. He faced Tony Gwynn 107 times. Do you know how many times he struck out Tony Gwynn? 0. He never struck Tony Gwynn out.
The insane one.
What?
Smoltz has mentioned this on multiple broadcasts. Tony Gwynn faced Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz a combined 287 times. He struck out 3 times and hit 381.
Dude, Tony Gwynn was awesome. Greg Maddox was awesome.
The most times Tony
Baseball
Gwynn
was
ever
awesome.
struck out in a season was 40. 434 career strikeouts over 20 seasons.
There's guys that have that in 3 seasons.
There's guys that have that in 2 seasons.
There's guys that have that in a month. That's crazy. This is crazy to think about. Like, all right, let's go to, all right, number 2, Bobby Witt Jr. has the second most hits in baseball this year.
Mm-hmm.
He has struck out 64 times.
Already before the All-Star break.
Jose Altuve has the third most hits in baseball. He has 69 strikeouts this year.
Nice.
Luis Arraez has he's leading baseball with
in
average and hits with 111 hits, hitting 312. He's struck out 21 times.
So that's the mark right there.
Jeez Louise.
Tony Gwynn,
is the closest thing.
Tony Gwynn never batted below 309 except in his rookie year when he hit 289.
That's up there with the Albert Pujols stat, where Pujols in his first 10 years hit 330 home runs and 110 RBIs for 10 straight years. And the only reason it wasn't 11 is because in year 11 he hit 299. It's like,
in the month of May,
bro,
Ellie De La Cruz in the month of May struck out 40 times. This season. He struck out 34 times in the month of June. Like, and he's one of the most electrifying players in baseball right now. Now, he's boom or bust, obviously, because he strikes out a butt ton. But just to think of that, like, those guys were insane. Like, Tony Gwynn was absolutely nuts.
A savant.
I love him so much. R.I.P. Tony Gwynn.
I love...
R.I.P. Tony Gwynn. And not R.I.P. Greg Maddox, because it's like he died with what you were saying, like all of the reverence of Greg Maddox that's out there, and I'm glad we're doing it right now.
Yes, 100%.
Like, did you see the Mississippi newspaper, the Clarion Ledger in Mississippi? They tweeted out today, Archie Manning, son of Peyton, or father of Peyton and Eli Manning, grandfather of Arch Manning, is 75 years old. And people were like, "Did Archie Manning die?"
Dead?
No,
Yeah.
it was just like a weird tweet in a news article about Archie Manning.
Roundabout way of saying happy birthday without actually even saying happy birthday.
Funny you should say that.
Not his birthday?
Archie Manning's birthday is in May.
What? Okay.
May 19th.
Wow.
Is Archie Manning's birthday. They just wanted to throw it out there and just be like, in case you guys were wondering, Archie Manning is 75 years old.
So there you go.
Yeah. It says that, and that's all the tweet is. Ole Miss football legend, dad of Eli and Peyton, grandfather of Arch, is 75.
That's it. I like it.
And then the news article is just nothing. It's about just some pictures of Archie Manning.
Okay.
Remember them while we're alive, okay? Let's
go.
just keep doing that. We've lost too many good ones lately. We're just going to remember them while they're alive.
Well, speaking of remember them while they're alive, an Olympic opportunity is coming up, and everyone loves them. That and more can be heard on Danny Dusty, Tinny the Fan. Everyone loves the Olympics, even the Chicago Bears. They are granting Jonathan Owens special permission to leave training camp to attend the Paris Olympics with his wife, Simone Biles, who is going to compete again. She is an ancient gymnast at, 25?
Yeah,
she's 12 years older than everyone else.
Hey, what's up, old woman?
Geriatric gymnast.
Hey.
But, Simone Biles, I think she, if I remember right, the competition she was just in, I think she just won again, another floor exercise. She's the floor queen.
Pretty cool.
So she'll go to Paris and she'll have her husband there to support her.
Well, I mean,
where I'm sure that they'll have the cardboard beds that are sex proof.
And then he'll get cut. I'm kidding.
Wow.
No, that's
Cutting
just the business of the NFL. Because if it was Caleb Williams, it'd be like, yeah, come back. You'll have your starting job and everything's going to be okay. I mean, he's a good player. He's a good player.
And Simone Biles has Wheaties money, so they're good.
You're always on the chopping block here, but it's a solid move. It's a great move. Good PR by the Chicago Bears to have that happen. And
telling him no would be kind of like, come on, man.
Yeah, they're stuck in a tough spot where they're like, oh, can't really.
Once every 4 years, she's kind of like the most famous.
This is it for her. Yeah. Okay, we'll let you go ahead.
I guess they're only gonna let him go for a couple days. It's not like.
Well, yeah.
But when you think about a couple days, France is a 14-hour flight, 15-hour flight.
I have no idea. I've never been.
It's a long flight. So if you're going a couple days, it better be at least 5. You need a day of flying there and a day of flying back, plus a couple days for the events. And if she wins a gold medal, are you going to be around long enough for her to see the medal ceremony?
I think that's what you go for.
Right?
I think you go for that final day.
For the final day?
Yeah, and then
hopefully she's there.
Get your butt back. Do you think they got private jet money, though? Do you think that, she probably knows people.
The family,
the
sponsors do.
Well, yeah. I think that's the way you get over there.
You get the Wheaties jet.
You get that PJ, and then you could throw them